Have you ever heard that hurt people hurt people? I think this saying is pretty common nowadays. But do you know that spiritual people also hurt people? Because spiritual people are hurt people, and you can hurt people even with your spirituality. And that is something I want to tell you today. Because I encountered that with a client recently. She's on her spiritual path and she's developing, and she comes from a family where she experienced a lot of hurt. And now someone died and she went back. And in preparation to that journey, we spoke. And it was very interesting to see that all the walls came back up and the spirituality was used to appear in a different way than before she was weak and she was the one who got hurt, and now she uses the spirituality to stand in a certain way and to be strong and to be above the others and above the pain, which is a protection, which is also okay for the process. You just have to be aware that this happens. It happens that we use even something beautiful as spirituality to protect ourselves, and with that to hurt others. Because if we put ourselves above others, then we diminish them, and that is hurtful, and that causes a reaction. So with doing that, she might even cause them to behave in a way that they feel the need to put her down again. And then we have the war and everything escalates. So it is a difficult situation because in case of a death, everybody in the family will be stressed. And stressed people tend to live in their fear patterns more. So what can we do in a case like this? Oh my God. Well, the first thing that came through me for her was to not to forget why she is there. She's there for someone she liked, who is gone now. And to use her spirituality to do the best for that person. And at the same time, when you go to your family in a situation like this, it's best not to go alone, but to have someone who is already knowledgeable in which patterns can occur and how they need to maybe take you out of situations, because we're the ones who get triggered fast, and then the reaction comes because the stress is so high, and so we need someone who's neutral to the triggers, who can come in between and pull us out until we regulate and can assert the situation in a different way. Luckily, most spiritual people really do not want to hurt other people, and so they are able to go further in their development and in their healing process after they encountered that they still carry so much hurt that they would hurt other people. And yeah, that will be the way for my client to continue and to look at the vanity, because the vanity is also not bad. It's we don't have anything bad in this situation. The vanity is healthy because she was put down for so long in her life that the vanity actually tries to get her up again. Of course, it's like an extreme, but extremes always try to, one pulls and then the other pulls. And if you're not regulated and centered, you get pulled to one side and then the other side until you learn how to center. And only then, when you center, you can connect differently. So once she will be able to know why the vanity is in her life and how to use that differently, and once she will have moved through the hurt in her life, so she can sort that in differently in her body, and the triggers fade away slowly. Once that all happens and she is centered, she can connect eye to her family again, even to those who wronged her. That does not mean that people who wronged her or you or anyone need to be forgiven. That's actually not the case, and that's not healthy for those who had the victim part. The victims need to forgive themselves, but not necessarily the perpetrators. But once that has happened, you can come eye to eye with your family as humans on this path of development, and each one trying to figure out the world in their best capability. And just your capability is different than their capability. And sometimes there is a little understanding. But the understanding can only come once we're able to level out and to have a connection from eye to eye. Once there is no up and down, you hurt me, I hurt you, these things. Once that's gone, then we can come to an understanding with each other, and then be on a path together. So it's from an against path that people can even take when they're on their path of spirituality, to a together path where we at least can look at each other and acknowledge that we are on this path, and there can still be love between each other, even if the worlds seem to be so different. I hope you could take away something from that. See you next time.